start my interviews off with a little bit of a softball. What was your first job in the movie and TV industry?
Cinematographer.
What was the project?
Have you seen Bittersweet Life?
Yes.
Korean film. That was my first job.
Obviously, you did the cinematography work on the film Decisions to Leave. What attracted you to this project?
What attracted me to the director, of course. Yeah, he called me, and we met, and I said yes. And I went home, I read the script.
It's definitely, that's one of the things that I found interesting about the film. It's definitely an interesting film, right? There's so many different tones and styles and stuff like that. I kind of did some research in finding out that you and Park did a storyboard process, and it took you a little bit of time to kind of find where you were working with. What were you both trying to find and navigate throughout that process?
Yeah, I mean, when I prep a film with a director, I mean, in the beginning, I always wanted to listen to his idea behind the script, and I ask questions, and I learn. I mean, I listened for many days, but I can't really. I mean, they don't pay me for to listen. I mean, once I have the ballpark of his idea of how we want to make this film, and then I get to talk, and I just give the idea in that ballpark. So it took us 2 months. It was great because I was a big fan of this film. So making film together was a lot of fun. And especially when you make storyboard, I mean, you can do anything in that stages. I mean, you dream so big. But the good thing is we got pretty much everything we planned for. So this was blessed.
So you have a love story, you have a crime story. Is there something like, is it difficult trying to find a color palette for like each type of scene that you're working on?
Yeah, we went for subtlety. We didn't want anything to show up. We kind of like planted layers. But yeah, one of the good example can be the interrogation room when the Sore and Haejun they meet, they spent a day in the interrogation room, and that is part of police procedure. And also in this film, it is a date scene, and so it's kind of not so usual case, but we made it. I mean, we want this. I mean, it happened in a day, but we want this audience to feel like it is more than a day. This happened. I mean, this crush, this feeling happens like all of a sudden. But we want the audience to feel this process of it. So we start the scene in the daytime and goes to late afternoon and come back in night. So give them like time pass and different. That's a process of it, and I made it like I give them little different color palettes for daytime and like late afternoon for when they eat sushi. I kind of try to make it a little bit more romantic, but I mean it can't really be romantic in that room, but I try that.
It's a good question here. Were the upward shots like in the phone and in the body and stuff like that? Was that part of the script, or was that a decision made in the process?
The dead body's POV was in the script, but after that we kind of we drew a storyboard, and we liked it, and we kind of like when we talk, when we try to develop it, we like the look of it. And one day I told the director, the Park Chan-wook, what if we have like POVs from cell phone? That was almost like a joke, but he took it and he liked it, and he developed it further. So we had like computer monitor's POV and dead fish's POV. I mean, we have so many POVs, but that's really, it's not just gimmicky shot. It really works for the story. I mean, it show them that it give you kind of like surveil feeling of it to their secret relationship. So I think that worked.
It's such a beautiful film in so many different ways. But my next question is, what's it like watching the project back after it's complete?
Well, there's one thing I like to tell you. I mean, after we finish, I mean, I like the sequence in the beach in the end. It is, I mean, I mean, there's the best sequence in this film. But when we watch and when he just shot it and just original footages out of camera, and we cut it just and then edit it just roughly in order. And after watching it, I was like, I'm fucked. I mean, it doesn't look like what we planned for at all. But after that, we did some, I mean, we got help from the colorist and VFX. All the mist in the scene is VFX. So VFX and the sound and the editing. And later, I mean, it took us a long time to find the right mist to make everyone happy. But anyway, in the end, just before the day we have to finish this project, we just got it. And I saw it in the theater with a great sound design and the music. I was like, whoa, this is good, this is great. But the first time I saw it, I was like, I dropped the ball. I ruined the film. That was my first reaction.
Yeah, and that, I never thought about it that way, right? Especially in the shoes of like a cinematographer. Like, it's such an important role in making sure that, we feel it as the audience. You know what I mean? We feel what we're seeing on screen, not just verbally, but visually at the same time, right?
But you can just give like anything. I mean, shoot anything and give it to VFX and have. I mean, ask them everything. I mean, you have to give them like right material to work with. It wasn't easy, but you're not always successful to make that material in a good way.
For sure.
Especially you have to, like, when you go out in the nature, daylight, it's hard.
Yeah, what's it like shooting in those conditions? You know what I mean? Throughout the film, can we have several different conditions?
Well, the thing is, I mean, it in the screen time, it happened in like 2 hours in the late afternoon till dusk, but we shot it for 3.5 days, and I mean, in sunny and then, I mean, daytime, the sun is high up, and also, and the moment we shoot this like final wide shot sequence when he just run into the ocean, like, to find this sore, and all of a sudden snowstorm came in. But if we missed the date, and we had to wait another 2.5 months to get the, like, when the sun is on the horizon and high tide comes in. It doesn't happen many times. I mean, like every week. It happens like less than 10 times per year. So,
all right. My last question for you is, do you have any upcoming projects you can tell us about?
well, I'm actually shooting. I'm working again with Park Chan-wook. I am in LA shooting HBO show called Sympathizer. The Robert Downey Jr. is playing 5 different characters in this show.
That's awesome.
And today is day 3.
That's awesome.
We started.